Good morning. Good to see everyone. We have some opening music by our music director, Morgan. So glad you're here this morning. That was amazing. Thank you. That was amazing. Nobody's asleep in here, right? How could you be? That was great. Thank you. All right. I'm Reverend Dr. Mary Mitchell. I'm staff minister here and in service to Reverend Sue, who's our senior minister. And I'd like to welcome you. And you've come to a place where we inspire people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. We have a whole array of classes going and more coming, and we hope you take advantage of this in the new year. It's a really important time to go deeper when things on the outside in the world are going a little crazy. So we're here for you. All right, we'd like to have the children come up, and as they do that, we'd like you to turn and wave to the world. All the people out there in the world who are watching here this morning. And children, come on up and know that you are the face of God. You are the face of God. I want you in my heart. You are part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I'd like to thank everyone on the team this morning that came here early. Charlie came and opened up and Doug is here for usher greeter and Lindy for sound team. And we don't know about the kitchen. I'm sure Shirley and Bill and others are going to be having something for us after the service in the kitchen. All right. If you have any cell phones, any beepers that would go off, we'd appreciate it if you would silence them for now. Thank you. And if you're new with us this morning, on the back wall are blue folders. There are welcome packets for you. They have a lot of really good information in it and a Science of Mind magazine for you to take with you. We have some focus announcements. Monday is Martin Luther King holiday, so the office will be closed. And we've been waiting for Nithya Ram to return from India, and she's back. And so her reality retreat will start Thursday, January 20th, 9 to 9:45 a.m. And it is a meditation. It says to inspire all in the path of inner excellence and to realize that our happiness is in our control. And Ava Milanovsky is going to do her outstanding Paint and Pour Your Art Out workshop again, Saturday, January 22nd, 10 to noon, limited to 10 people. And if you've seen the work that you, as an incredible artist that you don't know you are yet, it's amazing the work that comes out of these Paint and Pour workshops. So I really encourage you to participate in that. And we have Visioning as a Spiritual Practice by Reverend Sue, and that's the last Sunday of every month, starting in January, 9 a.m. in the pavilion. I bet some of that will be for our new minister who's coming, visiting for our new minister. And Reverend Sue's also doing a Prosperity and Abundance workshop, Sunday, January 30th, following the service, 11:30 to 1:30. And it's from our Conscious Giving Drive in November. It's a 2-hour workshop on the gems of prosperity consciousness. If that's something that's in your mind lately, that would be a really good thing to attend. And then Christine Stewart, she's a very amazing trained person in healing touch, and she's going to do course 1, Saturdays, February 5th and February 12th, from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And more of that is in your program. And then Sue would like to talk about our openings on the board.
Good morning, everyone. We've been talking about this a little bit, but it's getting close to the time where we're going to have our congregational meeting in March, the second Sunday. And that is the time we elect new board members. So if you've been interested, or if you've taken some of the classes and you think you'd like to serve in this capacity, we have an application for you to fill out. And if you want to talk to any one of us, either any of the practitioners, Reverend Mary or myself, or the board members, I had a lot of sick calls this morning, so it's a little thin on the board being here. I don't see any other board member. Yipe. Who's here? Oh, Steve's here. I can't see you. You're in the light of the light of the light. There, that's Steve. And he can share any insights with you as well. So pick up the application and let us know if you're interested in joining a very powerful team. So thank you. Thank you, Maria.
And our board member of the day is sick today. So Lori is in the bookstore, and if you want to sign up for any classes or get any information, see her after service in the bookstore. All right. So now we will have a reading. Craig Boyer is going to be doing our reading. As usual, he's really great on that. Then we will invite the bell. I'll offer a spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. And then Reverend Sue will talk about embrace the now. All right, Craig.
Martin Luther King Jr. lived an extraordinary life. At 33, he was pressing the case of civil rights with President John Kennedy. At 34, he galvanized the nation with "I Have a Dream" speech. At 35, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. At 39, he was assassinated, but he left a legacy of hope and inspiration that continues today. Now, these are all quotes of Dr. King's. We have come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of our democracy. And he said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the staircase. And if you want to be important or recognized or great, wonderful. But know that he or she who is greatest are those who serve. That's true greatness. And anyone can be great because anyone can serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be a servant. And he said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And he said, I'm convinced that people hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know one another. And they don't know one another because they can't communicate with each other. And they don't communicate with each other because they live separately from each other. And he said, be a bush if you can't be a tree. And if you can't be a highway, just be a trail. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are. And he said, all life is interrelated. That somehow we're caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of our destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all of us indirectly. And he said, I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Once there was a man named King, Alleluia. They called him Martin Luther King, Alleluia. King was wise and he was good, Alleluia. He believed in our brotherhood, Alleluia.
And our practitioner, Shirley Wade, will give the prayer this morning. Welcome, Shirley. Whoop.
With your hearts wide open, please join with me in knowing that there is one power, one life, one love, one presence. We know this to be spirit, and we call it God. This presence enfolds us, and we realize the truth that we are one with God and with each other. We contemplate this presence, and as we do, we let go of any worries, fears, or doubts that may have been a source of concern. Letting go of the past and placing our trust in the present moment, we embrace the now. We find life presenting us with so many opportunities to grow, to learn, to give, and to receive. We look deeply within to Spirit for guidance. Trusting in God, we find a sense of deep inner peace. we heal and release any limiting concepts we may have been harboring, knowing that we are surrounded by love and light. We feel a deep sense of gratitude as we release this word to the law. And so it is.
Wow. Thank you, Shirley. Beautiful prayer. And, geez, Morgan. If any part of my body was awake and ready as much as your fingers were this morning, that would be hallelujah. And Craig, you brought to life with such respect. So I bow to you in honoring Martin Luther King. And we do take that time to honor such a wise man. And it just blows me away that he was only so young, so 39. So young and yet so powerful, living his power in his truth. So today we're talking about a lot of this today, continuing to share the idea of the everyday wonder all through the year, and we'll be exploring different aspects of that throughout each month. But this is just looking carefully at what is now. So embracing the now, the Buddha says, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on present moment. Buddha. Mother Teresa, be happy in the moment, that's enough. Each moment is all we need, not more. Now, the invitation here is to settle with some of that, to deeply settle with some of these quotes that can come your way and you can be amused momentarily, but we drink them in and we let them begin to surface our consciousness in such a way that we draw upon these wisdoms. Prima Trojan follows it by saying, now is the only time. How we relate to it creates the future. If we're going to be more cheerful in the future, it's because our aspiration and exertion to be cheerful in the present. What we do accumulates. The future is the result of what we do right now. We understand that from this philosophy. This is a philosophy that continues from the science of mind, from Ernest Holmes and all the wise teachers that have supported New Thought throughout the ages, to continue to remind us who we are in the moment, not who we have been. And then as we celebrate who we are in the moment, we do begin to co-create the future of who we are. But we don't dwell upon that so much. We don't worry about the future so much. We just anticipate the power of our mind to help create a world that works for all. Now, it's interesting, as I'm standing up here, there's, you know how you get the other voices in your head? And I had this dream last night that I just kept talking really, really fast. Really, really fast. Nobody could take it in. And they kept, and I so now I'm going, now you're too slow. Speed up. And I'm like, these little voices, I'm going, okay, I'm all right. And Morgan, your music, I already had a little bit of butterfly, but then that music going, butterflies, and what is this? What is this I'm feeling with this music that she's doing? But I'll speak more of the music jam that we did on Friday. It was another similar experience with whatever goes on in our body when we really get in the now and we start to tune in to the richness of an instrument and music. But I want to stay on topic right here. Again, my dream, stay on topic. All right. So, awareness and appreciation of wonder. Think about this. It can only happen when we're fully present in the now. This is a message for all of us to wake up into this moment. There is a book called Embracing the Now, and the author of it, Gina Lake, says, awakening is the destiny of every human being. Awakening begins by becoming aware of awareness, by noticing and therefore experiencing more fully what's actually alive in your body. So when we talk a lot about being at one with one another, and I've mentioned before, it's also being at one with yourself, aligning body, mind, and spirit as one, so that all of the different voices that go on in all of us become in tune with the deep voice, the voice of awareness and the voice of the self. And we get to that point by feeling what's going on in the body. To watch this beautiful heart space, can be called the heart chakra, heart space, Christ center, all of these ideas of this beautiful sacred space inside of us. When is it open? When is it feeling itself just be open to the world? And when does it feel stung or contracted? So we look at that and look at your body to see really what's going on with me in this moment as I relate to another or as I relate to the self. The current meditation series that were started just last Wednesday from Deepak Chopra's work, Total Meditation, is taking us to that place of begin again, start now. We can let go of all of our other practices up until this point. They can still support us in the background of our consciousness, but to begin again, to let go of all the distractions in our life and witness the beautiful understanding of an awakened life. Now, this call of an awakened life, I hope it beckons you. I hope it beckons you to that place that you've all been longing for, to find refuge in every day and not to worry so much about somebody just sneezed by me and I don't think my mask was sealed. You know, all these ideas that are all important for us to take care of one another, but at the same time, be in the now and affirm each moment your health, your vitality, the greater intelligence of the power of good. So letting go of these distractions is what Deepak says actual mindfulness is. When we're in the distracted mind, return to practices of mindfulness. It is the energy we feel when we are fully alive and fully conscious. We are still going to witness these distractions. They come, they go. But when we apply ourselves more and more to the richness of the moment and the wonder of it all, we start to erase the woes. Those tender things cannot stay so alive in us if we practice the wonder of all and to start to allow this awareness to be more present in our experience. That's the first step, this awareness to personal transformation. Deepak says life gives you plenty of time to do whatever you want to do if you stay in the present moment. How many of you have said, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time, especially we feel it at the holidays. What day is it? Oh, I only got so many more days to worry about not getting done what I'm not doing. And so it's this whole anticipation we put upon ourselves, don't we? Does it really matter if you give your gift? I'll ask Sylvia this because I brought her present a day late. But does it matter? Does it matter if you love somebody all through the holiday and you have their Christmas present way early, but you come humbly at the door and try to shove it in like it's been there? You just now found it, you know? It's like, no, we just show up and say, here, I love you. Today, this is the day, this is the moment that I was able to get it all together. So we look at those ideas of knowing that life gives us plenty of time to do whatever we want to do to stay in the present moment. So again, as I share these things, think about when you have felt conflicted about not getting something done, feeling like time's running short. Because recognize this, you are beginning to jam the flow of now by grasping the future. It's this paradox. And you want to also not feel like you're being shoved around by the past, by an old idea or perception of who you think you should be. Deepak says, realizing that awareness in some form is always being present. Thinking or even judging is not your mind's true character. Awareness is your true nature. It's the backdrop of everything. And when we settle and rest in the everlasting love and arms of that idea, recognizing our hearts are beating in a moment of awareness. As awareness embraces us, we take our next breath. As awareness embraces us, nature and our bodies know exactly what to do to continue on. And we can observe everything around us and in us just as it is. Awareness will precede thought. And many times, as people try to meditate, their thoughts get in the way. But all you need to do is know, oh, a thought. I'm going to choose to sit in awareness. I'll think that thought later on. Ernest Holmes says, every man represents an individualization of the universal wholeness, the love, peace, joy, and freedom of spirit. Therefore, we have a divine right to rise above any idea of fear, impoverishment, or disease. We can rise above. So if your thoughts are tainted with any of that stink, you just realize, wait, God is more than this. I am one with the divine. We are more than this. He also says we should have the confidence that the power of the Spirit expresses through every atom of our being right here, right now. The power of the Spirit in every atom, in every cell, in every organ, in every breath, in every brain cell in your body. The power of the Spirit is moving. And Eric Butterworth used to be a powerful minister, unity minister, and he wrote this book called The Creative Life, and he says, you are the perfect idea. You are the perfect idea in the infinite mind. You are whole and perfect now. This wholeness is the only way that the universe knows you. Now we can fracture that simple quote. We can fracture it and say, oh, but nobody knows what's going on inside here. No, we don't. I can all look at you and you look like spiritual beings with these atoms with sparkling juice of joy. And then you could say, oh, but I had a rough morning. You don't want to know what's going on. You don't want to know the voices in my head. All our voices can meet one another at one time or not. But I choose to see the holiness in each one. We all have that opportunity to see with that eye. The message today reminding us the power of now. We look at the ideas with greater curiosity. This is the enthusiasm, greater curiosity. Look at everything with greater wonder. The mindfulness places us in those moments in our lives where we're making direct contact with life full on. And when we have that connection to life, we're seeking in return, we're finding our true center, our true north, and that is what is happening. Remember, mindfulness practices are returning us from the ideas of distraction. Now, a book that we're using this month is What is in the Way is the Way by Mary O'Malley. And the more I dig into her writings, I'm just really stirred into seeing things from just the slightest shift of perception, and I'm a changed person. So she says curiosity is the art of bringing your attention and your immediate experience together, bringing your attention and whatever it is right in that moment, bring it together. As your intention becomes engaged with what is happening right now, you will discover there is a lot going on around you that you never noticed. And that's called life. And when you're curious, you are making a direct contact with it. So here's an example of what she said. And this is one, I've heard something similar to this before, but I like this because I kind of followed it, her metaphor. She said, She calls this the 1,000 doors. Imagine being imprisoned in a room where every wall is filled with doors. Each one promises a way out. Now that's a lot. 1,000 doors. Already I start to get anxious. Check in with yourself. 1,000 doors. This room represents your struggling self. Some doors promise that if you fix your problems, then everything else will be okay. Others promise that if you just ignore them, understand them, deny them, try to numb yourself to them, or run away from them, you'll be out of prison. So you try 999 of the doors many times, and each one of three things happens. Either the door is locked, the door opens to a brick wall, or the door opens and you walk through it, only to find yourself in the same room. Check in. Where's those? Play the piano with this. Because it kind of stirs like, what would that feel like to finally decide, I am going to, it's a brick wall. I am going to, it's the same room. I am going to, it's locked. It's a stunning analogy, a stunning metaphor, I should say. But there is one door that you have never tried. It's a very small door at the bottom of a dark corner. You can see there is a word written on the front, but you can't quite tell what it says. The first two letters are B-E. So you figure, it's italicized. I don't know if it's B-E or H-E, but I'm going to say H-E now because it makes more sense. You figure out, this must be the doorway to hell. It wouldn't be the doorway to Bell. And you stay as far away from that door as you can. But there comes a time when you have tried each of the 999 doors many times with no results. You figure, hell has to be better than this room. So you go over to the corner, crouch down in front of the little door. Much to your amazement, you see the word that is written on the door is here, H-E-R-E. You realize in a flash that this door is an invitation to be curious about your experience rather than always trying to make it different than what it is. But this door looks too small to get through, so your mind doubts that simple curiosity will help you get out of this prison. However, since everything else has failed, you give it a try, and as you cultivate that curiosity, an amazing thing begins to happen. The more you're curious, the more the door expands. Don't you love it? Instead of walking through the door and out of the prison of your mind, you find the walls of the room are slowly dissolving until the room with 1,000 doors is gone and you're connected to life again. Whoop-hoo! Can I hear a whoop-whoop? I know. I love that story because it's like how many times there's something edginess. Please look here in this small away corner somewhere. And we misinterpret it. We see even like I couldn't even read the H-E in here. And it's this moment, I was thinking it's going to be all about B because I forgot my own story. I'm the one that chose to read it. But these are the moments. These are the moments of curiosity and awareness that bring us into this space of being really alive. We align with life, and the prison walls that we thought were there begin to just simply disappear right before us. This is what Earnest Holmes calls the Great Awakening. I should have you up here for this reading. Now is the time to awake out of sleep. Now that's a quote from Romans, but he goes on, the belief in a life apart from good, is a dream from which we must awake. Nothing is separating us from our good. If we are to taste the waters of reality which flow from the source of life, this awakening is a process of evolution, a little here, a little there, until the whole eye is open and we see that life is neither separate from God nor different from good. Life is God and good. is the only power there is or can be. To awaken oneself is to be healed, made prosperous, happy and satisfied, to be made every whit whole, to be complete as we were intended to be. God is a God of the living and not the dead. Here and now we are surrounded by, immersed in, an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? How much is it is yours? Hey, you read it. You guys read it. So let me ask you again. How much of this good is yours? Now feel that when you say that. Is it a little, all of it? Me? Or is it all of it? Like a Craig? You know? I don't do it justice, sorry. I mean that with great respect. It sounded like I had a frog in my throat. But think about this. Think about this idea. All of it. Here, now. I am in this now. This is me in the present moment. Our highest good is always happening here. Nothing is random. This divine intelligence is supporting everyone's highest good. This is the evolution of our consciousness. This is an exciting time to be alive. Right? Yes. That's kind of fun to do. So we start in the now. This is what Eckhart Tolle reminds us of in The Power of Now. And many of us, his books have been around a long time now, a couple decades. And it's not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living, he reminds us. But what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? And maybe sometimes the effort is just that first step, or looking down in the corner for that small door. We know the taste. Each one of us have had moments of fear or doubt that we won't follow through again, that we're probably going to get trapped again one more time on autopilot, and another day is going to go by. That person's going to irritate me again, and I'm going to go down that rabbit hole of on them. And yet, be curious to just stop it and say, whoa, why am I going there? This is a beautiful day. Why am I going there? And putting that out into my future, because what I think today creates my tomorrow. And so you can just take a step back and let go and know that we are never ultimately in control of anything. There's nothing we need to really fix or change except our own consciousness. Be with what is. It's a vast, beautiful space of the open heart on a soul level, the pure space of understanding and being. Now, who else can share this with you more than my good old hippie friend Ram Dass, right? From his, Be Here Now. He wrote this book way back in the 60s, so how cool are we hippies that are still living on the dream of his words? Perception from the soul plane is all in the moment. Perception on the soul plane, that's very key to what he's explaining here. Be Here Now is an expression of that. When I'm fully in this moment, it's timeless. From the soul perception, I see the world around me as love, as the beloved. The trees moving in the wind are love. The universe is love. I am a loving point of awareness in this vastness. This consciousness is all part of the one. The one is another word for God. God uses our consciousness, or my consciousness, to talk to himself or herself to ourself. Ram Dass. Important words, an important message for us to remember. What I'm talking about is not the memory banks that are actually fragmented pieces stuffed in different places of our brain, the memories of our perceptions that cause us sometimes to call things forth, but to separate from that. And Lao Tzu said, if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're at peace, guess where you're living? In the now, in the present. Lao Tzu. He knew he knew way back when. Thich Nhat Hanh adds to it, to live in the present moment is a miracle. It is. The miracle is not to walk on water. The miracle is to walk on the green earth in the present moment, appreciate the peace and the beauty that are available now. How many of you said, glory to this day? Well, maybe not those words. Those are a little bit pulpitish. But when you were driving in today, Mount Shasta in its glory, the dusted snow on Lassen, the blue sky, the lacy clouds. This is a day to really celebrate and be alive. And the SOAR group went out yesterday, and the pictures of their adventure was just extraordinary. Extraordinary. We live in the most beautiful land. And I was so excited with the idea of the music jam that we had on Friday night. We recorded some of the music. You could not escape the now, because it just kept taking you deeper and deeper. This piano was going, there was a horn instrument going, there were drums going, there were little flutes going, there were voices that were showing up out of nowhere. It was magic, and it was the moment. And it was so enriching that I was talking to a friend as we were leaving, and he said, you know, it feels so free, doesn't it? It feels so free to let go of trying to get everybody to see the world through our own eyes. It's so free to suddenly just look at each other and just reverently and deeply and honor their word and listen and just listen. You can still share your opinion, but how wonderful it is to listen with heart instead of listening, okay, I'm going to debate this with you. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Watch my heart space shrink. I'm opening door number 899. You know, these are the moments that we want to keep searching for that 1,000th door. Notice what's going on. Notice and observe your consciousness. Notice your state of thinking and look directly into it, just knowing this is going on in me right now. And I am witnessing a very healing, spacious moment. No more rabbit holes. As I work with trying to discern what's going on, and I use the very valuable soul questions of inquiry, who am I here? Who am I here? Not what are they out there? Who am I in this now? That puts you in the moment of accessing a truth, allowing you to relate to what's going on instead of reacting or relating to it from an old, stale state of being. So, yay God. Yay God. Ernest Holmes says, all these ideas are formed in the present, since there is neither past nor future to reality. To reality is what he's speaking of, to what is going on right here, nothing to set out to fix. Not the past, not the future, but now is where this curiosity begins to transform us as we begin to experience it. And I invite you just to try it on this week. Just watch the rabbit holes. Just watch what doorknob you're reaching for. Watch where you start to feel the least bit restricted. One more final story before I close. One of the stories of Mary O'Malley I thought was very relevant here, because she says, be curious and notice. She writes the word notice, K-N-O-W-T-I-C-E. Notice. Notice. K-N-O-W-T-I-C-E. Interesting little, I love when Mary does that a lot in her talks, where she finds a word and we find many different ways to look at it. I mean, this is a made-up word, but notice. A man named Clara shared her insights. I was cooking dinner and looking around my messy house, and the thought came to my mind, I'm tired and overwhelmed. Once I bought into that story, I did notice my energy sink. Then my perception shifted. I realized that tired and overwhelmed part of me was here. That small shift didn't cause the same energy sink. So there's a difference. She just noticed. Her perception was allowed to shift when she realized that the tired and overwhelmed parts of her were showing up. So then she said, the tired and overwhelming are visiting. What a shift that made. It acknowledged that it's all temporary and this too shall pass. It opened me to be more spacious. Hallelujah. It reminds me of the Rumi poem when he says, the many guests that arrive at your door, invite them all in. Invite them all in. Sit down, let's have a conversation. So she had insights. The stories in her minds are just like the weather. It comes and goes. Some days are sunny. Some days it's rainy. Some days snowy. I can't control the weather. It's not permanent. It's always shifting. Impossible to control. The only choice is to experience as it is and see it. There's so much to share on this idea, but there was one little phrase or story from Eckhart Tolle that before we go into our meditation on this, listen to this and see if you can feel the power of now in his words. Let me give you a visual analogy to illustrate the point of surrender. You are walking along a path at night surrounded by a thick fog, but you have a powerful flashlight that cuts through the fog and creates a narrow, clear space in front of you. The fog is your life situation, including past and future. The flashlight is your conscious presence. The space is now, that clear space right now. Follow the trajectory. Follow that, and the fog disappears. So I'll have Judy play in the background, but I invite you, these were words that some parts of you deeply listening, some parts of you wandering, some parts of you right here and now just feeling. But go into that space, posture yourself, feel the eyes close, and see what's on the mind, the screen of the awareness in you. Think about what you are believing about the principle of this teaching. Think about controlling the conditions in your lives through the power of your mind. What does that mean to you now? No pushing away discomfort. No more holding a limiting idea of the past. Every idea that floats through you is a good of the God calling you home. Use this observer consciousness. Scan your thoughts. Scan your emotions. Scan the body. Be one. Body, mind, spirit. Notice what is present in this moment. I choose not to judge it, not to change it. I choose to see in me now. This is the presence process. It is curiosity. Notice what has your attention. Notice what you're more curious about. Notice the thoughts, the sensations. Notice and recognize it is all temporary. This too shall pass. This too shall change. Notice your insights. Notice this all healing inside of you as you meet yourself and see no stranger. You see the oneness, the sweet soul that says, be here now. So we join together in a consciousness of the divine, of this great love, of this great power, of this great vast intelligence that opens us to the most glorious, beautiful world, where every insect, bird, and animal and human being, every tree and flower, is inviting us to wake up and to walk in the divine presence. Let every footstep be that journey towards that small door of consciousness that becomes an open, vast room of everlasting love, of everlasting good. May we each know now in this year, 2022, the wonder of it all, the joy of the journey. May we anticipate each other living out this dream as we awaken this possibility, this potentiality in each and every one of us, that this good is longing to unfold. We are the ones being called by the divine to step into the world and live and live and live with open hearts that embrace one another and no longer hold up a hand and say, I don't want to hear you. We open. Feel that idea, feel your body, your heart expanding, and just witness this moment of great good ever flowing through you as you. Yea, God. Yea, God. God is good all the time, and we are grateful. We leave here today with souls just shining brightly. And I give thanks for each and every one of you who take the words that you heard today and infuse them in your life experience and live in the now. Yea, God. I release this word knowing we're all on the same path. We all have the same flashlight. We're all following the light, leading us home to our true self. I release this word, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Judy, as always. Mary, I think I'm leaving you everything you need. You got it. She knows me. Morgan.
Thank you, Morgan. All right, if the ushers would come forward, it's time for the offering. So as we prepare to give our offerings to the center, let's remember the overflowing power of divine life energy overcomes every obstacle and pours out into the world, blessing and prospering everyone and everything through me. I radiate blessings. I radiate creativity. I radiate prosperity. I radiate loving service. Through my vision, the world is blessed. I am grateful for the abundance that is on the way and for the abundance I currently have. I share my good with joy, and so it is. It's so powerful to feel blessed, to really feel blessed by this center, by the sunshine of the day, by all the birds, all the love in this room. We are so blessed in so many ways. And the center is blessed by each one of you for the gifts you give, the time you take to help in so many areas of the center. This is one blessed, incredible center for spiritual living. Thanks to each one of you. I give great thanks for these gifts, knowing they are well spent, well cared for, and contribute to the bounty of this teaching, this love teaching, this truth teaching, this gratitude teaching that spreads throughout our community. So I say thank you, Spirit, for bringing us all together here, whether we're across the world or here in the sanctuary, to feel truly how blessed we are, and so it is. And so I have an affirmation for everyone. Thank you. Thank you. If you would repeat after me, this day I recognize God and only God as my substance. God and only God as my substance, my supply, and my support. All right, you did really good. Charlie is here somewhere. He was. Well, heck. Huh? Oh, there you are. We're here available for you as practitioners, and surely you want to join us as a practitioner, being in service to you. If you would like a prayer for something going on in your life, that's what we're here for, and we'll be over here by the bell. So come and see us. Otherwise, we have a closing song. Thank you, Morgan.
are so fortunate. You know, think about what image came up for you while she was playing. You know, I'm going to try to learn that piece by next week. But what came up for me, I felt like all of us were like, wee, I'm so curious about life, and I'm so much in the wonder and the joy of it all. It was like all of us were turned into bunny rabbits, just popping around everywhere, annoying everybody because we're so happy. So you brought that to us. Yay, God, for you. Thank you. So go on and enjoy the social hall and this day, the bookstore, and know that Lori is there to help you sign up for anything. Thank you for being with us today. Awesome.